Welcome to Captive Conversations. I'm your host, Adam from Captive Wi-Fi. Join us as we dive into behind-the-scenes stories of hospitality leaders, exploring tech, operations, and marketing through the eyes of the experts. Let's get the inside scoop together. Hello, everyone. Episode 32. We don't do seasons on this podcast. Other people do seasons. We don't do seasons. We just go straight on episodes. So episode 32, I have the pleasure of having Kerry, CEO and founder of Guestwise. And there's some really exciting stuff we're going to talk about today because everyone is talking about what you're going to tell me later and asking about it. So, and I've seen some of what you do and it looks freaking awesome. So I'm actually quite excited. I'm a bit of a data head, and especially when you can do what you're doing. But I'm not going to tell everyone just yet. So we're gonna. You can give everyone a wave. So give everyone a little wave who can see, and a virtual wave for others. We had Ben O'Brien on the last podcast. So his question, which I gave you in such advance notice, was question 1. What do you think the industry can do to reduce the high failure rate for restaurants? And his stats were 60% in the first year and 80% in the fifth year.
So I think it's a good question. I think there's a couple of initial things. One is that by looking at where the consumers are and what occasions you're expecting them to join you for, you can try to pick location and cuisine. And then there's the obvious answer, which I would give, which is think technology first. And that is pick a tech stack that allows you to identify guests, attract guests, remember those guests, make them feel special. Because digital, obviously, engagement and communication with your guests is what drives loyalty and repeat business. And building that base from day one allows you by day 356 to have a loyal fan base that you're talking to, not just hoping walks in the door.
Yeah, I'm 100% agree. I literally had a conversation with a client yesterday who was like, we want to engage. We want the MaitreD without having to have the MaitreD because they can't have it.
Make me feel special.
Right?
Remember who I am. Remember my preferences. Just make me feel like you know who I am and you want me to be there.
Yeah, like the hotel. The question I said to him was, like that nice hotel you went to where they remembered you from all your preferences and stuff. So yeah, I totally agree with you. I think technology is definitely there to help, which we can talk about later. Do you think fish and chips and a Sunday roast are the best examples of British cuisine? And if not, what is? I think that's great.
So I have embraced the Sunday roast with great joy. But I actually think it's a great question. And my answer would be almost about provenance, because I think Britain has some of the best beef, lamb, and smoked salmon in the world. And so actually those ingredients make fantastic British cuisine as much as end dishes or recipes you might be thinking of.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. Also, I think it's quite nice to see more and more restaurants put the provenance of the product.
Where's it from? Well, Tell us. We'd love to know, where's the food coming from and why did you choose it? And do you know where it came from, right? And this is more and more possible, and consumers want to see it. Yeah. So let's get it out there.
I agree. Okay, we're going to dive into the standard questions. So the first question here is best hospitality experience.
So I'm going to use one that is probably not expected.
Okay.
Our family loves Toby Carvery. And why do we love Toby Carvery? Because it meets what we want absolutely across the family. It's fast. Yeah. It's good quality. And they're always so kind. We've got 3 small children, and so they're kind and they're helpful, and we are able to have the experience that we want as a family. So hospitality experiences that meet what we are looking for and that we leave with a smile on our face. Toby Carvery is one of the top ones.
Do you find and consistency, because it's the same sort of experience? Yeah,
you know what you're going to get. You know exactly what you're going to get, and everyone in the family knows what they're going to have. Yeah, they know how the process works, and so therefore there's the joy before we go. And every time afterwards, we feel like we got exactly what we're hoping for.
Yeah, and satisfied.
Yeah. So Toby Carvery is an unusual answer.
No, I just get it. Well, especially with families, right? When my kids were younger, the harvester was the thing. They were like killing themselves over the salads, and having that control of what they do, and it was the excitement of going. Even it's the same sort of thing, really. But yeah, their potatoes are amazing. But yeah, so I'm with you.
You could go to places like the Ned or London has, and the UK actually has an amazing food scene. And so I've had wonderful hospitality experiences in other places, but from just a joy and consistency point of view, Toby Carvery is high on the list.
we'll definitely go to the Sunday roast at the Ned next time. So, but not with the kids.
Apparently very good.
Yeah, I actually want to go to the Grove. The Grove does an amazing in Watford. They do like amazing like unlimited buffet Sunday like dinner. It's
I just
just
need to look after the kids so I can go to the spa.
yeah. Just let them in the unlimited buffet, and then you have to go in the spa.
Brilliant.
Okay, best hospitality tech, but no self noms.
Cool. So we supply hospitality techs. We interact with a lot of folks. I am excited about people like say Vita Mojo, for example, who are providing data which is a combination combining POS transactional data and the online ordering data and who the guest was. Like that, getting your preferences and the items that you bought, I think is super exciting. I'm excited by people. Even people like Eagle Eye who are doubling down on how to use AI to do identification digitally and are able to then personalize what you're going to receive. Those are the kind of things that excite me. So people who are really leaning into data, people who are really leaning into who am I, what matters to me, and trying to service that to me.
Yeah. I think it's nice to see now all the POS some of the POS platforms that have the integrated payments, and it's interesting because Vita do our single solution, but they also have the plugins as well. You don't have to use their stock. You don't have to use it. So I like platforms that have that solution, but also are a bit open with what other products they have. And the payments things is awesome.
Who they work with, like I think if you had one wish of hospitality tech is open APIs that allowed anybody to integrate with them.
Yeah.
We're in an ecosystem where historically the big providers particularly have been
completely closed.
Very closed.
Yeah.
We're going to do everything. It's a walled garden. It's not a walled garden hospitality. We have to work together. And if there was an ecosystem of open APIs that allowed us all to give the restaurants the experience that they want from tech, that would change. That would change the game.
Olivia Reed, who now works at Market Halls, she was at a brunch from Chris Fletcher's brunches ages and ages ago, and there was a panel, and she specifically, one of the wishes that she said was, I wish POS companies would grow up, and in that she meant just open yourselves up, just be there to let people build cool stuff
and be great at your thing, and let everyone else build on top of it, so that we're standing on the shoulders of giants, so that we're able to unlock the potential of all that lovely data and the guest experiences and make it better for people in hospitality. Not try to lock it down to just the one thing that you do.
Yeah. I think in the past it's been very much we can build it, and it hasn't massively changed since before you were building stuff. But okay, cool. So we're gonna sort of go back in time a bit, really. So probably even in the beginning, before you were even in tech, talk to me about the journey. Did you work in hospitality at all in the beginning? What was the journey like? Because this story is an interesting one, because I know some of it already, but I'm quite excited to listen to the rest of it.
So I did not start in hospitality tech. I, as you can tell from the accent, am not from here. So I grew up in the Philippines, American schools, and then went back to Australia. Left and went to PwC in Kenya. So as an accountant. And that was a fascinating experience, kind of really great on the numbers and the how do businesses work side of things. Left and went to a mobile company in Malta, and we had the early mobile rights to Britney Spears and Snoop Dogg, Alyssa Milan, Limp Bizkit.
What does that mean?
Well, we had their mobile rights, and they were happy to sign over mobile rights because nobody cared about mobile.
Yeah.
This is before data, or before the wonderful world of iPhones.
Yeah.
And so this was, you could dial in on a premium line and listen to Britney Spears pre-concert talk. You could text a premium number, and she would give you whatever she's doing at the time.
No,
and so it was
that's
direct,
really cool.
direct connection, but through very basic tools.
Yeah.
And we could give you a folder where you could go to and see exclusive content and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that kind of gave me a real bug for, and actually, this chairman at the time, he said the phone will be the joystick to your life. And I was like, what? I can call and text. It's not the joystick to my life. He, for whatever reason, could just see in the future that this thing was going to have all of the computing power and all the connectivity and all the, and 10 years later, he was absolutely right.
Yeah.
Just could see it when I couldn't see it.
Yeah, really interesting.
And so that was kind of the mobile piece. And then I was recruited by Cadbury's to come across and manage the high street convenience channel. So I was managed W.H. Smith and Boots and those guys. If you've ever queued in the airport and you've picked a bottle of water in W.H. Smith from the annoying plastic queuing lanes, that was me. If you go to Welcome Break and look at the layout and the range of chocolates, still very similar to how it laid out almost 20 years ago.
It's worked. It works. Don't break it if it's working.
Well, that kind of gave me like a real bug for consumer consumer insights and consumer research and what who's buying and who's consuming, because the purchaser is not the same or the decision maker is not necessarily the same as the person who's consuming. That same in hospitality. Left there and started a vending machine company, and we grew that to be the biggest healthy and convenience vendor in hospitals, leisure centres, and universities in the UK.
Awesome.
So I have been to almost everywhere in the UK on a train.
Yeah.
So people are like, well, you've been to a place I've never been. I'm like, yeah, I went there for my vending machines. And I said, if you went to university in the UK, chances are you've had coffee.
You've been there.
You've had coffee, you had crisps, you had healthy products, you've had convenience products from my machines.
Yeah.
We sold that in 2010. And that's when I started then looking at digital and suddenly you had the phone.
With the vending machines, were you putting any data from that?
No, we were carrying £65,000 a week of coins to the bank.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is, even card machines were expensive and there was no data, there was nothing.
Yeah.
And there's got to be a better way than this.
Yeah.
And so after we sold that, I started looking at digital and built an app with a co-founder called One For Me. So you can send a beer to a mate, because I really wanted to solve the problem of not being in the same place but wanting to celebrate.
Yeah.
There's all these occasions in life where you go, I'm thinking of you, mate. Let me buy you a meal. Let me buy you a beer. And so we built that for a few years, and then that actually led me to a company called Flypay, which became Fly. And I had known the founder there for quite a long time, and we'd collaborated.
At Flypay?
At Flypay, yes. So Tom Weaver and Chris were the founders.
Yes.
And I said, look,
was that in the beginning?
So this is 2017.
You're powering through, and you speak faster than me, so we'll slow. I can slow it down on here. So was that at the beginning of Flypay, or would they have already
about 3 years in?
Okay, fine. So still early doors, to be fair.
Yeah, so still very much in the days when we were doing pay table at Oaxaca, order table for
I used
GBK.
I used it at Oaxaca. My office was opposite. I fairly remember actually splitting my bill. Probably the first ever bill splitting platform out there. And before you speed on, I have to give props for bringing order. Well, there wasn't order; it was just pay at table, wasn't it?
Both. We did order table at GBK.
Oh yes, I used it at Oaxaca. Was like in awe of it. In awe of it. So I just have to give you the props for that. But you can continue.
We're trying to solve
something. The first ever. It's like the first thing. Like first thing people. This is before even people thought about QR codes. Do you know what the hell is this on my screen on the table? Do you know, way before loyalty activations, way before anything. And like you're the same as everyone else. They're like, we just did this and blah blah blah. But it was a massive change in tech of helping these businesses make a big change.
A massive leap. And so we had a digital touch point and a way for people to more easily pay their bill or order from the table. So One For Me was 2013 to 2016, and then 2017 was the joining of Flypay.
Yeah.
And Chris and Tom in that process we were rolling out to Pizza Express and Mitch on Butlers, working with Nando's, like these amazing brands that we're working with and providing technology for.
Yeah.
And so when I joined as CRO, as a Chief Revenue Officer, I was tasked with saying, how are we going to scale this thing? So we've got these amazing brands.
Yeah.
We've got all these consumers, we've got all this data. What are we going to do? And one of the insights, which is these weird things in a tech company, is that integration was a problem.
Yeah.
And so brands wanted this stuff, but then other suppliers were constantly coming and saying, so Yampingo or Verifone, and they're saying, can we integrate with your rails into POS for POS transaction data, or for ordering integrations, or for menus, and that then led to this kind of, I guess, eureka moment where you go, maybe it's an integration platform, maybe that's the thing that scales into this sort of really successful tech company. And so we started moving towards this thing of becoming a universal adapter, where we said, okay, let's integrate with POS, let's get the menus out, let's put the orders in, let's get the transactions out.
You say it just like, let's integrate with POS. I mean, we're talking when it wasn't that easy integrate into POS. Thank goodness you had the customers to push the POS to do it.
We had to put an agent on some on-premise POS at this time. Micros for KFC was people on a site, like putting effectively like an agent on Windows.
A little app on the server, right? Yeah. Well, to be fair, even back in the day, Tenzo were doing the same thing on their lower stuff, having a little agent. I think there were a couple of other platforms that were using, like Omnivore or something, where they were using the agent that was on the device, pulling the data out, like super old school. And we had clients that had your platform as well. I don't remember who I spoke to. We were running around London trying to restart these agents for people.
Chilango, probably.
Yeah, well, definitely in Chilango, 100% in there. But so
it's hard.
Did you? So were you building kit like that stuff? Was that official integration on some of them, or was it just like
some were unofficial?
Yeah.
Some were just the manager's login, and then you're uploading software.
Yeah.
And so it was just any way that we could to say we need to get your data out, transform it, and push it to third parties. We need to take third party orders, etc., and push them into the POS.
Yeah.
Reliably trusted. And
that's when it changed the name from Flypay
to Flight. Is we said actually. So there was Flypay, which was the apps and the on-premise consumer-facing stuff, and then Flight was the integration platform. We said let's change the name of the company to Flight because that's the thing we're going to double down on. Because even at the time, building apps for people, even as white labels, was difficult.
Yes.
Because consumers were already getting app fatigue.
Yeah.
And so, do I want another app? Every app had to be bespoke, and it was just difficult to scale. Whereas the integration platform, if you create a set of open APIs and allow anybody to use them, and you just say, right, here's your credentials, here's our APIs, good documentation, suddenly you're scalable. And also because it was now, think about this 2016, 17, there's the rise of Deliveroo. And so Tom and Chris knew Will Shu, they were offices close to each other, and so Deliveroo was an early client as well. And Deliveroo said, we just want POS integration. We want to stop having manual menu upload, factoring over here, authoring over here. They don't match in the middle. Items aren't available in the POS, but they're still available on the front. Anyway, it was a mess. And so Deliveroo came on board. Then Uber Eats, we signed a global deal with Uber Eats, and we signed a deal with Just Eat. And so suddenly these three major, really fast-growing, really well-funded delivery platforms.
And it was going quick at that point.
They were fighting. They were winning. They were like, can we go to any other country? We want this POS and that POS. We want this restaurant and that restaurant. We want to do not only delivery but collection. We want to do cash and card. Just the complexity was real. And so we're trying to build this platform as fast as they were moving. And these global giants are pushing really hard.
So did they help you get more integration? Were they pushing to get more integration? So then the doors became a little bit more open.
So they would go to the enterprise merchants or the big chains, and they would go,
we can do this if you let us do this.
Exactly. In the early days, they were telling, and then immediately it became McDonald's went, we don't do anything without integration, and the world changed. And so suddenly then we were then talking about McDonald's, we're talking about Greg's, we're talking about Starbucks, we're talking about Burger King, like all of these brands
exploding.
And that led then to and so Just Eat had actually a few years before taken a small equity stake in the business, and then we were going through a fundraising round.
Was that because years and years ago they used to have an office in Elstree, and I was my first ever office was underneath them. So when they moved in, I actually walked around with the tech guy. His project was to basically run everything. He walked around they had a little data center in there.
Probably Luke.
I don't remember, so long ago. It was a long time ago. I mean, they exploded with the amount of people that they had in that office. It was that building was. They did a good job. Did a good job.
And so by this point, it was growing rapidly. We were I guess about 40, 45 people when I joined. We were very shortly 50, 55, 60 people, and then we're going through a fundraising round to go to the US. And we said, actually, we're gonna start to really scale this thing. And Just Eat came along and said, actually, we really don't want you working with Deliveroo and Uber Eats. We would prefer this to be an in-house platform because we believe that because you got to remember back then, Deliveroo was all the chains.
Yes.
Uber Eats was a competitor coming in, but with huge Uber money behind them.
Yeah.
And Just Eat was working with lots of independents.
And had those devices everywhere, right? And
had the tablets. Had the tablets everywhere. And then suddenly Just Eat said, we're going to go after the chain market as well. We want McDonald's, we want Starbucks, we want Greg's, we want these guys, and we can't do it on our own. We need a way to do this at pace. And so that's when they acquired Flight. And they just bought the whole thing. And then everything became scale Just Eat global. So we went from 500 locations live in the UK with Just Eat and 55 people and post-acquisition, then I became CEO. And we then, by the time I left 2 years later, we had 31,000 integrated locations. So just unbelievable. And we were the largest, at the time I left, I think we were the largest POS integration or number of POS integrated locations for menus.
It changed the game for them, right?
Exactly.
Because where did it? Just Eat was from what? Where did it originate?
So Just Eat was a UK company, and David Buttress was the CEO. They went IPO'd here, and then they merged with Takeaway.com, which was the Dutch company. Jitse Groen, who's the CEO, became the head of Just Eat Takeaway. Global behemoth. They bought Grubhub in the US, and kind of it's gone.
Because I remember all the devices in the beginning. Do you know what I mean? It was mental.
Well, and ironically, a lot of them are still there. And so imagine devices. And you've got Uber Eats, Deliveroo, Just Eat. And then Too Good To Go comes along. Let's get a Too Good To Go device. And now we want virtual brands. So now we want in that same restaurant, but we need another device. So now we're going to have 3 Just Eat devices, 3 Deliveroo.
And the dark kitchen and everything else.
Exactly. So the problem not of integration anymore, but those tablets are still a problem.
Yeah.
And they're working.
Well, to be
through
fair,
that
I
now.
mean, back then you had not only you had Uber Delivery, Just Eat, Henchman, you had
Hungry House.
Fiverr.
Yeah.
We had clients that had to start up enterprise. Literally, it literally was like this. You walked to the main till and there was like 17 tablets.
Chicken's out of stock.
Yeah.
Which items have chicken?
Just give them the bun. It's fine. But yeah, I remember the days of. And we had a client in Brewer Street, in Beak Street in Soho, a tiny restaurant, maybe 20, 30 seats, but literally with a plethora of tablets. And they obviously came and went. But at one point there was loads.
No. And so this is this we were talking about earlier about you need integration.
Yes.
You need systems to talk to each other. Nobody in a restaurant cares about all the suppliers. They just want them all to work together. Make it work for me. Make it easy for me. I want to know my guests. I want to serve my guests. I want to have a great hospitality experience. I don't care what's happening in the background. Just make it work together.
So when the Just Eat thing happened, the other delivery platforms, obviously, that was them.
So after the acquisition, everything. So we then moved out of all of the order and pay at table stuff. We moved out of the other delivery platforms. Just became Just Eat. Integrate Just Eat global clients. Yeah, and that's what the business is.
Did it work basically plugging into those devices that were still out there as such?
Yeah,
they were just checking in, right? So then you could then feed into
into POS, directly into POS. Yeah. So it was if you change your menu on your POS, we'd reflect it on the front end.
Yeah,
and if there was items out of stock, we'd reflect it on the front end. So we were managing effectively mirroring what was happening in your restaurant with what was happening on the delivery platforms.
Yeah,
Just Eat in the end.
And how many POS integrations did you end up doing?
80, 90, a lot.
Wow.
Because every country has their own.
Yeah.
Germany's got different ones than Australia and the US. And so we had teams of people who were experts at POS integration.
That's crazy. And so what was the journey from the beginning of Just Eat to the end? It wasn't the end. It was just the transition.
I joined in
away.
2017.
Yeah.
Just Eat bought us in end of 2018. Transition then happened 2019.
Yeah.
And then in 2021, they rolled the Flypay into Just Eat Takeaway product and tech organization, and that was kind of the end of that as an entity and as a culture.
And what of the team had already moved over?
So 2021. So we stayed independent until 2021. Maybe it was April 2022, and then they integrated into the product and tech organization of Just Eat.
And is one of the teams still there?
Yeah, a lot of them are still there. A lot of them are still there.
Nice.
Different people in different countries. Sort of different setup, but a lot of people stayed. A lot of people have gone on to YouTube and all sorts of other places following their journeys. Yeah,
that's really interesting. Okay, so then what happened?
So then I took some time off.
Okay.
After being CEO.
To be fair, it was a bit go.
It's fairly go. And we had an amazing time. This is through COVID.
Yeah.
We'd gone remote, and so we shut the office in February of 2020, and then by the time I left in September of 21, I hadn't seen everyone physically until my leaving party.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And then took a bunch of time off, and then in 2022 said let's go again. And so myself and Aidan, who's my old head of engineering,
you were itching, weren't you? You were just itching.
Yeah, and love hospitality, and looked at how could we do something new? How could we do something completely different? And so looked at what was happening in e-commerce. And said, well, a lot of that is applicable to hospitality, but it's not available with the current tools. Can we build something which generates incremental revenue? Can we create something which automates personalized marketing, and so that across channels you get a view of your guest and you make sure that you're talking to them on the right channel with the right message, driving frequency, spend, loyalty effectively. And so we set out to build something.
So then that and the amount of people we speak to on a daily basis, everyone's the big gripe is, but Shopify does it. Shopify does it, right? But the retail does it. Why are we so far behind?
Agree.
And I think it's an interesting point, like a light bulb moment, that when you were looking at doing it was there's all these people were all saying, but why can't this work?
And I think it's because Shopify is one tech stack where you've got people on one digital platform who are simply looking to because they're doing amazing things, but they are selling something online, and therefore it's much easier to recommend the next item to buy. People like you bought this thing, manage your communication. But hospitality has the concept of a table and a time and what's the occasion and the online ordering and menus and ordering. The concepts in hospitality are very different to the concepts in e-commerce. And so unless you can wrap your head around how does this stuff apply to hospitality, and then integrate with the hospitality systems.
Yeah.
Because Shopify is one system
Yes.
that allows integration, whereas there's no Shopify in hospitality. It's all different voucher systems, POS systems, menu, websites, loyalty, apps, all this stuff. And so somehow we have to connect into all of those different parts of the ecosystem and use the data that we have to make sure that we're pushing things out on the right channel at the right time, etc.
So what was the first part of building this? Obviously, I know there's 4 different areas. It's 4 different areas. Yeah, done my research. I've seen it. What was the first piece that you started to look at?
Yep. So we first started off saying web traffic is the highest digital touch point.
Yes.
And so let's see if we can help to optimize that. Let's see if we can help to turn visitors to a website into loyal guests. And so what would that mean? Well, that means that let's personalize their experience when they land, if we know who they are, who they are. If they're coming in from a marketing campaign, let's show them consistent imagery and creative around that campaign. But let's track them. Let's identify who they are. So it's not just another visitor. It's Adam, it's Kerry. And do we know them? Do we know that they are regular? Are they recent? Are they loyal? Like, have they got a loyalty program? Have they got an offer available to them? And actually, the really simple things of let's get their consent to marketing. Let's find out your date of birth. And because consent to marketing allows me to talk to you, and date of birth is the highest converting campaign. And then let's ask for your preferences. And so the first piece of it was the on-web, we call it Activate, the on-web piece that allows us to identify who's on your website and then show them something or change the website so that it's more likely that they give us more information or see something that encourages them to book a table, place an online order, buy a gift card, etc.
Basically customizing that experience so it's there.
Exactly.
I was speaking literally like an hour ago, I was telling someone about it. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you received an email and you clicked the link and the link you clicked on showed you a completely different page to the person next to you visiting the website?
Exactly.
Because that page or that part of the website is tailored to that communication to you. Which is,
but you've taken the time as a guest. You've taken the time to click my communication.
That's
different from someone who's Googled.
You say that like it's just you're right, 100%. Even if you were to click on an ad link on Google or anything, it should, but it doesn't.
No,
and this is the problem you're fixing.
Exactly. And how can we help with that? And even simple things like Apple has ruined open rates because they open all the emails in the Apple Mail client. So if 60% of your guests, which is pretty typical, are on an Apple iPhone or Mac OS, those emails are going to be opened. And so your open rates don't matter anymore.
Correct.
What we can do is we will track that guest through their contact ID and tell you how many people are landing from each email. So suddenly you know by campaign the effectiveness of getting people back to your website.
Yeah, and you've got that individual. So it's a bit like if we talk about like card tokenization, that individual person has that unique token, right?
Exactly. Well, so when you're landing back, they have the token that we give them, but also because we put the contact ID on the way out, we type back to CRM data, and now we know 30% of the people who landed back visited recently. 40% are haven't been seen in the last 12 months. You do something different for them afterwards because suddenly this person who hasn't engaged with email for 12 months suddenly has. Let's look at what the campaign was and why did they do that? Suddenly do something different to that group of people. And then, as with all things web, 80% of those people don't do a thing you want them to do. So let's now follow them up with an abandoned journey email to say, hey, I know you came to the website. I know you checked us out. I know you went to the Honest Burgers in Oxford Circus site location. Did you want to book or to, did you want to book? Were you thinking about eating at home? Here's our online order page for that same location. Suddenly we could do something. 100%. We can do something with it.
So, it makes a massive difference to the customer experience. I think, to be fair, I didn't know if retail even does it as well. It probably does maybe a small version of it. But I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, you could convert this into retail. So it's another team.
Anyone's got a physical premise and they're trying to combine physical premises and an online experience. That joining of your digital experience of did they buy, did they sign up, did they sign in, did they just browse, did they go to the kids section? If they went to the kids section, we should do something different on our email than if they went to the offers page. Because I went to the kids section. I'm not going to the kids section if I don't have kids. Don't send me the kids offers.
So you're telling me that you can even go deeper and send and segment the data for the customer on the browsing journey.
Exactly.
You're blowing my mind.
Do you come back all the time? Is it your first time here?
Just stop. I need to get my head. So the big challenge everyone has is how do I segment my data? But if you're able to understand the journey, people aren't going to be force clicking on the kids' parties area. But if you know they've clicked on that, then you feed that into their customer
likely.
Yeah,
you could send them something about kids.
Yeah.
It's not 100%.
No.
I don't know you. I mean, we can't spy on you.
Yeah.
I would like to.
Yeah.
But we're not in your home.
Yeah, but if they've clicked on more than 3 times, you know there's a likelihood that they're going to be looking at that area.
Exactly.
And then you can maybe even customize. That one's gone off. Sorry. Technology is great. I don't want my GoPro likes to. Let's turn this back on. And this is the backup camera. Okay. Let's turn you back on. There we go. The main one's still recording, so we don't need to worry about that one. But okay, so if going back to this, if a customer, I'm tracked, I'm looking at my kid's 16th birthday, for example, she's a teenager, I go to that area of the website more than 6 times, you know, on a high possibility that's going to happen.
It's just probably it's intent. It's intent. We think that you've got intent. And let's say you come to our loyalty page and you keep on not signing up.
Yeah.
Let's drop you something that says, hey, did you know that there's rewards available to you there already?
Yeah, on the page, right?
Exactly, because on the page or on email.
Yeah.
Because if you're consented to marketing, but you're not part of our loyalty, but you keep visiting loyalty on the webpage but not signing up, let's send you a prompt even on email to say, I know you're email engaged. Let me tell you what's in your loyalty wallet.
Yeah.
What's available to you is these 4 rewards for everyone who signs up.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
It increases. And so all the things we're doing, marketing people are doing a great job. We can help to augment that.
Yeah. To touch base, the main plan is to feed that data into the relevant platform that they're already using. So you're adding that touch point in so that whatever platform they use, CRM platform they use or data platform they use, can trigger that message off with the data you're feeding to them.
Exactly. So the reason we believe so strongly in integrations is that the source of truth for marketing is the CRM or the CDP or whatever they're using, and that's where things like consent, unsubscribe. Other preferences, other data,
all the data's been fed in, right?
Wi-Fi, it's all gone into there. We want to feed more consent into there, more preferences into there, so that then the marketing guys can do more with their existing tool.
Yeah. I think the stuff that's really interesting, I'm going back to it again, is if you're able to see what the customers do, a bit like Hotjar and micro clarity, right? So you can see where the customer's going, but realistically doing much more with the data.
But and so the challenge is there, the marketer's got to sit and watch 100 hours of video. We're just going to give them a map to say, don't worry about watching the individuals. Let's just get the 10,000 people who've taken the path to kids. Let's get the 10,000 people who have clicked through email but not made a table reservation.
Or even someone who's clicked into the online store, or someone who's clicked to Christmas parties.
Exactly, events. And so the beauty of that is then you can also start looking, going, if I know who you were from your email, and you landed but didn't do the thing, and you're still not continuing your journey, maybe we then turn you into a custom audience to sync to social. Now we're going to do a paid ad to those people who are web engaged but not converting, because maybe they need another channel, because it's the same consumer on social, on web, on mobile, on push notifications. Is that
the second part?
And that's the second thing we built, is this ability to take your data.
That's called
Acquire.
Okay.
So think about that as being outside of your environment. So activate being in your digital environment on web or app. Acquire being out there in social channels.
Yes.
And we've done Meta so far. Take the 10,000 people whose birthdays are coming up, or the 2,000 people whose birthdays are coming up next week.
Yeah.
And show them something. Say, because birthday's a great occasion. Show them something.
Great conversion. Yeah.
Come and see us for your birthday.
Yeah.
We know who you are. And it's to those specific people. So it's not a generic, we're running a birthday campaign. It's to the people whose birthdays are coming up.
Yeah.
But now you say, then we should get a lot more birthdays, right? Yes, birthdays now becomes a priority because we can't just send them an email. We can target them on social.
Yeah.
We can on web target them omnichannel.
Yeah.
And so that's the second thing we built. And then the third thing we built is around real-time communication.
So hold on. Okay, so let's go back. You've sent a marketing campaign out. People have clicked your website. 20% of those people have gone to Christmas parties.
Yep.
And you now have their data anyway, so let's push it into Meta and run some campaigns across Christmas parties.
We're great for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. And then the first thing they see when they pop it on Facebook or whatever, or across Meta is that ad targeted to add to them.
And the best thing, so when I used to,
and then you're tracking that as well.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're trying to track your attribute all the time.
Yeah.
To then subsegment. So your 10,000 people on your birthday audience or your Christmas audience that you do a paid ad to. 2,000 of them will click, and 200 of them will convert.
Yeah.
What do you do with the 1,800 and the 8,000? And so you keep on just refining what you're saying to these people.
Yeah.
And if you've managed plenty of teams, Adam, when I was managing bigger teams and we had 100 plus people in Flypay, you say you need to say something 7 times.
Yeah.
Before it becomes a thing. Same with marketing.
Yeah.
We need to show you the same thing 7 times on various channels before you go.
Hold on.
I've had an idea for a Christmas party. I'm thinking harvester.
Yeah.
And we need to reinforce that message, because people's lives are so busy and there's so much marketing going on from hospitality, everyone, retail, e-commerce, etc. How do you cut through that? You cut through it by reinforcing the message and personalizing to what you know about me, so it's just more effective.
So can I ask a question? If you were to do a targeted ad to a Meta account and they clicked the link on that account and they then visited the page, do you know who that person is visiting the page?
So it depends. So if we've captured them previously with a cookie consent, then we know who they are. If we've never, it's unlikely we've never seen them before because we've got them from CRM. So, but if they haven't visited the website previously via direct email click, then we won't. Because Meta never shares who you are. So to the point where they land, and and you can recognize them, then you can tie it together.
Okay, so the flick back would be the cookie recognizing you coming back, and then you can customize that individual.
Exactly.
Okay. Amazing.
However, everybody who lands, we can customize the page to, because the ad from Facebook has a UTM in it.
Yes, of course.
That says you saw Christmas campaign. So when that person lands, don't send them to the menu page.
No.
Send them to the Christmas page, because you're using the UTM. So I don't have to know who you are. I know,
customize the journey.
Customize the journey. Exactly.
I'm with you. Okay.
Before I even know who you are.
My brain's sort of like exploding a bit.
A million ideas, though, right?
Yeah, you're not even halfway through, so this it is a million ideas, but so the customization, is that all managed in your dashboard? So you've got a little script that sits on the website.
Exactly. Which is you just copy and paste into your Google Tag Manager container. So implementation is super fast. And then we manage it our side to say, okay, now what do we want to do? We want to show, and the brand obviously controls creative, and they control so the image, the words, the call to action.
So that's all within your side, right?
Side,
Okay, fine. So are you even editing the words in the page, or is it mainly pop-ups and overlays?
Either. The script allows us to edit elements on the page. So if we know what the element is, we can say, hey, Adam. Or we can change the header image. So if the header image is bog standard and you want that to be a Christmas message just for those people, we can change the image. So we can change in page on the domain. Or we can use banner, pop-up, alert bell, side banner.
Little chatbot, whatever it might be, not chatbot, but okay. This is it's basically making the customer journey a lot easier for the customer.
It's helping what they've already got. So they've already got a website, they've already got social campaigns, they've already got email
They're all
tools.
disconnected, right? That's the piece. So you're trying to bring everything together for them, so that and these pieces. So we talk a lot about a CRM, that platforms out there. They're just all like set and forget and so on, and they're great. And there's other places that don't do the email, even collecting emails on websites. I was on a big brand website today. I was talking to a client of mine, and we were scrolling down. They got like 15 restaurants, awesome brand, no sign up on the website at all, nowhere.
But actually, we want to know who you are, and suddenly that becomes a real priority, because the more people get in your email. And I've got some friends who run a chain of very nice restaurants. Like, but if we collect marketing information, and they collect thousands of emails on bookings, we have to hire a marketing manager to do something with it. It's hard. It's hard. But how can we help them? How do we help them make that easy?
One of the comments is that marketing people are so busy doing the out of order sign by ops, or being told by ops to give the right messaging, that to do anything else is
and the Christmas menu, and they're like, well, you're in marketing, you'll do both, you'll do the posters and the digital, right? Well, they're kind of different things, but hey, marketing people do everything related to customer communication.
And on brand. So
and the tools are hard.
And you can set, so that piece is very much, and you can set it like, because obviously people will do their email marketing campaigns in advance, right? This we could tee out on advance, right?
Exactly.
You basically said,
a lot of our stuff on email though is based on real time. So it's based on, if you've seen them on web and they haven't done the thing, we can trigger an email. If they have got a voucher that they haven't redeemed, let's do a thing. So what we're doing is, again, augmenting the marketing.
So this is mainly lots of tracking, basically. So basically understanding and using timeouts, because when gift cards and gift vouchers aren't used, normally does anything about it unless the platform is able to give you that reminder. But I guess if you're clicking the button on the gift card to take you to the website, you sort of already know who they are,
exactly,
right? from that individual link. So if
and anything they do. So because we're sitting on top of CRM, if CRM has real time, let's say a webhook or something, to tell us that they've logged into Wi-Fi, if you want us to trigger an automated message to say use the order at table, or because order at table is beautiful because they're going to give you your email and the items they bought. Which is really difficult in the current world of POS, because it's difficult to get POS data out to tie to an individual, but on-site digital ordering is fantastic. So how do we prompt them to do more in the digital world so they tell us more things so we can personalize better?
So then, say someone was connected to the Wi-Fi, and then send a push into your platform, and then you would basically understand.
What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do? Is it a test? If you have an app, is it a push notification? Is it an email? And what's the call to action? Because you're already there. So I don't want to give you 10 quid, but I might want you to give me your date of birth. And 15% of people will do it. And none of this is 100% of people. It's all a funnel. But if 5% of people give
but it's all about testing, right? You test it with each segment to see what works. We often get questions and about how do you upsell, how do you do that with the use of technology, and there's so many touch points now, from booking to Wi-Fi to
and even as we were talking previously though, in terms of once someone's logged into Wi-Fi, what's the next action you want them to take? And typically it's, let's show them all the cocktails. Well, maybe we could ask them for the preference. Which cocktail do you like? I mean, I know people in Diageo who would love to.
And the data that you can get from there, right?
Exactly. Mental. So let's ask them for something. So every point in the digital journey, let's make sure that we're taking the opportunity to say, hey, here's a value exchange. I'm going to show you some content or give you an offer, or just you're a loyal fan. Let me collect some more information so that I can do something better for you.
It's really taking the customer profile to the next level.
Exactly.
So you end up building a huge amount of data points on that customer, and then firing it out.
The more we know, the more we can help their existing CRM and their web platforms to do better.
You're basically the overlay, the bolt-on overlay to make things better.
And so any other system that's out there, whether it's anyone in hospitality tech, effectively we can bolt in and we can help them to do more. And so whether that's online, they've got an online ordering platform, they've got a web platform, they've got an app platform, they've got Wi-Fi, whatever it is.
So could you put just to throw out there, if someone was to have like an or pay at table, could you put you could put the JavaScript inside that?
Exactly. So it's a slightly different technical implementation with apps, but we put JavaScript in there, and then we can do things like say, hey, cool, you've paid a table, but a second bite of the cherry, sign up to marketing, or we've checked your email, and we've noticed you don't have a loyalty account.
Nice.
Prompt, encourage.
The 7 times.
Exactly. 7 times. Got to keep on talking to them.
You're right. You're absolutely right, because people will forget. And so everyone's so busy. Okay, so that's number 3.
That's number 3. So Engage is our real-time sort of email and SMS, and we can create them as default templates, and so it makes. So
if need be, because some CRM platforms aren't super high powered and immediate, they can use yours to fire those messaging out.
So we can email or text. We'd prefer to push it back in the CRM,
of course,
and let them send
but not all of them have that facility.
No, and so we just, with that model, we just ingest they'd send us an HTML template. We ingest it. It turns it into code automatically on our side, and then we're using their brand template. So it's still going out. Looks like it's from the brand.
Perfect.
It's just coming from our mail sender rather than theirs, but we can do either. And then the final thing we built is around. If you think about the funnel, so there's acquire, which is getting people who are outside your ecosystem in, activate, which is doubling down on when they're on your digital platforms, engage is direct communication, and then what we call retain, which is advocacy. So we built refer a friend and spin to win, so that any brand can have an out of the box refer a friend program or a spin to win game.
Literally had someone ask me yesterday about the spin to win, the gamification.
Yeah, exactly. And that's key, right? Because e-commerce is doing it. I mean, Temu does it. I can't use that platform. I can't figure out. I'm like, but I didn't even get the last discount. Now I've got another one. It's more. It's not 80% off. It's 90% off.
It's that I
drives me mad.
None of the ads I see for it just tease me back into it. So, but I don't. My kid is the one that buys from it.
I can imagine. So we don't want to go that far.
No,
but it's that. Give me a reason to come back, and if I've got a way that I can refer my friends to somewhere I love, that is the most powerful word of mouth. Like that's super effective in terms of getting people to come to your brand and sign up to your probably loyalty.
So how does that piece work? Is that
so it's just configurable our end. So we run it through the web activation script again. So configured on our platform, and then when somebody lands, we say, "Would you like to refer a friend?" Yes, I would. And we give them.
So is that what pre-booking, post-booking, or is that or just generically?
You can put it
anywhere.
You can put it wherever you want, and you can set the rules. What do you want them to do? So if I'm the referrer, and I'm gonna send. So we generate the code. I send it to Adam. Adam clicks the code. We recognize Adam from the code when he lands.
Is this an email that gets sent? I mean,
or no, it can be either. So it goes from the website to their email. They can copy the code and put it in WhatsApp, put it in an email.
Oh, you mean the redemption code, basically.
So it's a referral code.
Oh, a link. Okay,
fine. And then so I can pick it out, whatever. And so
we have you can forward by WhatsApp, whatever you want, right? So
and
you're
we've
tracking.
We've got the native button. So it'll open your email client, it'll open your WhatsApp, it'll open your Facebook, whatever. So click the button.
And you're tracking all those buttons as well, so you know.
Which ones always about to
everyone's using Facebook. Shit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
They're all over 55. And so they ping it out. We recognize how many are sent out. Attribute them to me as the referrer to you. You click back. We recognize who you are. If you then do the thing like sign up to the loyalty program.
You're going to give me my reward.
Right? You're going to give me my reward.
Nice.
And by sign up, you get your reward. So you get your reward. I get my reward. But it's not just I'm giving you a voucher. You've got to do a thing. And you can, and the brand can set the rules of that thing. So do you want Do they have to make a table? Exactly. Do they have to make a table reservation? Do they have to redeem a voucher? Do they have to sign up to loyalty? Configure the rules of the game on a for a friend. A spin to win. It's just a wheel. And
I love spin to win. Yeah. Octopus energy for me on the spin to win is just weighted. I go crazy when I went. But then you go back.
But imagine you go back every week.
Yeah.
Adam, come back to a website every week. If you came back to a brand's website every week, your loyalty is going to go off the charts because you're constantly engaged.
So with loyalty, because everyone's talking about loyalty, right? Where are you feeding? Are you either looking or are you feeding into loyalty platforms?
So we, at the moment, don't do a lot with loyalty.
Yeah.
Mainly because we've gone through the CRM route. But it's one of those ones that we need to look at to be able to say, okay, how can we integrate with loyalty to understand what they've got in there?
Yeah.
What's the next step? And so we already do look at stamp card data. So we look at data to say, who took one stamp but didn't get the other 5?
Yeah.
Send them something.
Yeah.
Recognize them on web. Again, it's the same principles.
Yeah.
So in terms of that loyalty piece, we're doing guest account sign in, and we can see the rewards in it. But we're not choosing the rewards. We're not choosing the loyalty points or the program.
No.
We'll just look and see, do you have some?
Yes.
And if you have some, let's tell you how do you get more.
Yeah, or how to use it. No one knows. Some people get really confused. And like what was it? Was it Tesco? Club card points. I think in 2 weeks' time they're going to be, unless you're using, they're going to be gone.
I did hear that.
I think if you've got previous points, something like that. There's a whole thing on social. It freaked me out. I was like, oh, I got to then get my points from or use. I think if you haven't used X for X amount of time, which is very interesting. But so basically, this is more rather
sitting
than
on top of that, looking at it and understanding what you've got,
make it work better, basically,
and what's going to encourage you to take the next step.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, did you know you have enough points for a free side?
Yeah.
Great. That's easy. That's easy stuff for us. But we're not really planning to run a loyalty. In the same way, we don't want to run a CRM, as in we're not a CRM.
Yeah.
We don't want to be a loyalty program.
No, but you want to improve it.
Hook into it, and then be able to say, there's a bunch of people over here that if we gave them something and
we see this is happening,
pass it to loyalty and say, hey, can you please top up this person, or can you please do this thing?
Yeah.
And that's kind of with anyone we work with, we want to be augmenting what they do, not replacing what they do.
Yeah. I hate the word problem because my brain is not designed to understand. It's like always a challenge, but when it comes to developing something, you've got to fix the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And all these platforms that are out there are amazing what they do. But there's always more things that could make them better.
No,
and it's about building the tools to make them better.
Hooking them together in a lot of cases to say, let me go and get all the other pieces that you don't have, and let me bring them to you so that your platform now knows what's going on with that guest, and you can do your piece.
Okay, so I'm going to go back a bit because we talked about the track. That's one of the biggest people we talk about, like everyone's talking about, is that tracking, which is so difficult to do. Some marketers have got down to a T. Others have got developers all over it. Everyone's screaming at different because the widget will either disappear and not. And I just these are challenges. Where are you with that? Because the after piece, which is quite interesting, what you mentioned about you sort of you zip through it, and my brain's quick to get it, but you zip through it. And I'd like to just go back to that piece of that basket recovery thing and how that works. So, because obviously you've got the script in the website now, so that one piece is in the whole site, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so all we're doing is we're tracking people on their page views, and so we're looking and saying you've searched for a location, you've gone to the location specific page, you've gone to the booking specific page.
Yes.
At that point, we're gonna say that you're on the journey. You've shown enough intent.
100%.
You're on the table reservation part of the website. If you don't then complete within an hour, we're going to look and say, okay, we think that you've abandoned.
Yes.
We're gonna if we know who you are, we're going to send you an email.
Yeah, 100%.
But we also have the ability to look at the form that you've filled out. So if you've filled out 2 steps or 3 steps, and you've said you selected for 3 people, dog and duck, Friday night, 6 p.m.
Because the link they've clicked, you already know who they are. Right?
Exactly. Because they've clicked through, and we've recognized them from an email click through, or they answered an email on the form previously. We're then saying, we know who you are. We know what you've done, and we can add those details. So we can say, hey, Adam, did you still want the table for 6 p.m. for 2 people or 3 people at the dog and duck on Friday night?
The only challenge you have is that unless you get the direct link done, but it doesn't matter. It brings them back to the website to complete their journey.
Exactly. Yeah, they always come back to the website to complete their journey. And then we can track who did it, who didn't do it. And so we can then automate a follow-up to say, hey, were you still looking?
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't work on a Saturday for a Saturday night booking, but it works on a Tuesday
you can set it whenever you want, right? You're not going to send it on Saturday night anyway.
Exactly.
Right? But as you said, Monday to Wednesday or even Thursday, those missing pieces. As I mentioned to you, we spoke to someone last year who was like, lost 60% of the bookings in that month, and it was mental.
Exactly, so, but they've disappeared forever.
Yeah,
it's like it's like, and this is the other reason for digital proof of presence or recognition. If I went to a pub every day for 6 months and then never went back, you don't know who I am.
No,
find out who these people are. Get a digital touch point
Yeah.
that allows us to communicate with you. And the other interesting thing with the abandoned journey piece is that we're able then to look at who didn't convert, and we could turn them into a social audience.
Yeah.
And so you just multiple bites of the cherry. That's
Yeah.
seven
So
times.
what smarts are you putting? I'm assuming there's some clever little, machine learning behind it, what everyone calls AI, into that. Are you looking
We're just
at
doing
frequency?
a shed load of data science.
Yeah.
So we're taking that data and we're crunching it, and so you'll find it super interesting. Things like a birthday audience. If you send out a birthday email 2 weeks ahead of time, there's a spike in both bookings and visits 14 days ahead.
Yeah. Wow.
So on the day you send the email, it's saying it's not the birthday yet. Yeah, but there's still a spike in visits and bookings. There's a spike in visits and bookings on the actual day, and there's a spike 14 days later. If you set a 28-day expiry on your birthday incentive, there's another spike. So there's 3 spikes. You have a bite to the cherry in terms of birthday audiences. And in terms of marketing emails, so we've now looked at hundreds of thousands of marketing emails going out. And the most,
I'm sure you sign up to all of them.
The most
I
effective.
speak to marketers all the time. They're like, I've just set up a Yahoo account to sign up to 400 different restaurants with email address so I can see
what's going on.
Yeah. And I think it was like 20% didn't get anything. Nothing. Not for the first 3 months.
But again, then you're like, there should be something immediate and then something to ask for more information.
Yeah.
If somebody is
profile,
giving you the trust, exactly, trust in giving you consent to marketing, let's make sure it works for them. In terms of email marketing campaigns that have gone out and led to a table reservation, when do you think is the most effective time to send out email marketing messages that lead to a table reservation?
Go on, I have no idea. Go on.
10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Tuesday to Thursday. It's the middle of the workday.
Yeah.
So when are people responding?
But you say that that would be me genuinely.
But I didn't think that.
Because I'd be like, my wife, as I mentioned, she'd be like, you need to book this table at this time. But the only time I could think of, I wouldn't do it at night because I'm like.
So it's interesting because I'm expecting people sitting at home, you're chilling out. What are we doing on the weekend?
Yeah, that's all me.
No. 10 to 4.
Yeah.
Tuesday to Thursday.
You know why? Because everyone's got alarms on their phone that they snooze the whole fucking day.
Yeah.
And you've got to book the table, and they snooze, and then eventually they look at it at 4 o'clock and go, I really should book this table.
I've got a message from my favorite brand. I'll book the table.
Yeah.
But that was fascinating.
Yeah.
So in answer to your question in terms of,
That's
so
really
we use AI.
Hold on. So are you able then to I mean, obviously you're going to have analytics across the board to actually see from all different pieces. Is data going to be shared across out to like us, our hospitality friends and others to show this is what we see? Because you know how Cam do their stuff and everyone displays it. It'd be really interesting because it's anonymous data.
Exactly.
And that would be really interesting to understand.
So we're going to try to get more and more of that out there.
Yeah, because the more that you're out there, the more data is being ingested, the more systems that you're seeing, the more crunching of the data that can be, and then you've just got this awesome anonymous.
Agree.
Yeah,
and also we believe very strongly that we're here to. How can we share things that are going to help everybody understand something a bit better? Absolutely fine, because if we all share, we all get more.
Yeah, because the knowledge you're going to be getting is crazy.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah,
and it doesn't exist.
It's really interesting, but it's super interesting.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking because you could literally be like, right, this time at this day is the perfect time for your website to have this sort of page, but no one's going to have time to do it, which basically means use your product to put it in there. Just that sort of stuff of and as you mentioned on the bookings, which is really interesting.
Bonkers though.
Yeah.
Bonkers, but then you can start segmenting and go, right, who are the people who are midweek bookers? Because midweek bookers should get something different from weekend bookers.
Fire that message out at one point throughout the day. Yeah, if you know that 3 p.m. is a really busy time where people are booking, send an email an hour earlier to convince them to remind them.
Just prompt them.
Yeah.
Just say, I know.
The 7 times. The 7 times. It's in my mind now, the 7 times. Yeah, 100%. It's so clever. I'm going on forever.
So you were asking, let me touch quickly on AI and machine learning. So we use AI in actually a lot of our product development process. So things like putting an integration, we'll feed the integration documents into ChatGPT and say, chuck me out an API that's going to allow us to integrate easily with this. So, I mean, it just is game-changing what's available now. And then we use Databricks, but there's a lot of these platforms out there that host your notebooks for data science and apply the common machine learning model. So that stuff is now effectively out of the box and available if you have structured data. And this is the thing that in the industry, we don't have a lot of structured data. So people say, you should use AI. And you're like, but if you don't have structured data that has context to it, AI can't do a lot with it. And so we're on a journey, as an industry, we're on a journey where we have to get all of this lovely data we're talking about into a structured format so that these models can work to churn out their clever predictions.
Yeah, I spoke to a colleague the other day who has a supplier control platform, and he said to me they got rid of all the developers last November, all of them.
Oh wow!
And he opened the database up read only,
Right.
and he showed some of his team how to go to ChatGPT and ask to write an SQL script.
Yep.
Right, so write an SQL script. Can you do X, Y, and Z? Blah, blah, blah. And they got a little page on the back end of the website, the admin, that says, paste in the script, run the script. Does it show you what you want to see? Yeah. Then you webhook it out.
Excellent.
And now they've got 450 scripts, and they've got their sales and marketing team writing database queries.
Amazing. Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because you can ask a developer to do X, Y, and Z, and then that amount charges and costs because you want to do this, can I do that?
Exactly.
But like as you're saying, for for ChatGPT, the new models are so powerful with what it has and that it's ingested. I sometimes use it to tell my developers, you can do this.
I've checked.
Yeah, I was like, no, you can't do it. This is the script. Oh yeah, that works.
So I tried that the other day when I was on a call and I was saying, well, this problem we can't solve. And I ChatGPT'd it, and Aidan, who's my co-founder, CTO, love you, man. He responded on the call with a bunch of other people. He's like, stop ChatGPTing stuff. It's not useful. I felt sad. I was being clever.
Yeah, it is. My best mate never used it. And he came to my house last week, and I was like, man, he goes, stop it. I'm gonna, you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole. I haven't spoken to him for a week.
It's amazing.
And he's like now deep in the rabbit hole of it all, which is really interesting. But that's interesting as well. Also to help you as well. Like some of the documentation is so lengthy.
But you can feed it all in and say, right, what does this mean in terms of technical specs? What would an API look like? And that is obviously not final code.
No.
But geez, it's a shortcut.
Yeah. Very clever. Yeah, 100%. I think that, and also you've got to be agile, right? From back in the day, you had these challenges of doing what you are. Now that they are a lot more open, so you have that availability. Okay, so we are teeing off. So one of the, there are other questions that I gave you, but I think probably future trends would probably be a good one to sort of like towards end on.
So thought about this a little bit, and there's a million and one things here.
By the way, I could keep listening to you for another hour talking about the product, but go on, tell me.
No, and we can do that. We can do that, but nobody else wants to listen to me for now. Grates on people after a while. So I think there'll be an amazing leap towards virtual assistants. So we think about the technology we have in our pockets in terms of, say, an iPhone or an Android phone, and the data that is there. The mental load for you to figure out even something simple like a table reservation.
Yeah.
You've got to check whether there's availability. You've got to check with whoever you're going with. You've got to check price points. You've got to check menu. But all the data of what you like and where you have been and the reviews you've left are there. And so I think there'll be virtual assistants that come along and take a lot of the mental load away because they're sitting on top of your emails, your calendar, your reviews, your previous orders. And so when and voice to text is now come along in leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
And so it'll be very easy to go, look, I'm looking for someone on Friday night. Have a look and let me know.
Yeah.
Let me come back with 4. Do you want to go somewhere you've been before?
Even Alexa, right?
Exactly. But Alexa's dumb.
Yeah.
Right. And Siri is dumb.
Yeah.
These things aren't using our personal data. And so
you could build an Alexa app, right?
But I think we will. I think we will give permission to some of these tools that we don't at the moment. Like we'll freak out about Facebook data.
Yeah.
This is like the next level of that.
Yeah.
We've got a virtual assistant that effectively
it's still private, but it's just got your information.
And it could just be local. It's not being shared with anywhere.
Yeah.
It's being, and this is what Apple's talking about a little bit, is keeping all of that data about you here, and then referring to ChatGPT for the outside information or Gemini.
So like when you're using the API for ChatGPT, right? Data goes out, the API reads it, the data comes back and it gets burnt.
Exactly.
So and that's a protection piece, right?
And then the agent. So the first thing will be a virtual assistant, and after that it'll be an agent. They'll action the thing for you.
Yeah.
Would you like that table, Adam?
Yeah. Well, it's a bit like I remember the video from Google ages ago. They did the video from Google ages ago of actually booking a hairdressing appointment.
Yeah.
And it phoned up and it used Google's assistant to actually phone and book.
I'll book that for you, Adam.
And done. I mean, it's still not out, right? But it was very interesting on what they did and the possibilities. I mean, that could be
exactly. But the data is all there. So this is not that the virtual system piece is,
basically
is not
saying
10 years away. It's 6 months away.
Yeah.
And the agent piece is 18 months away.
Yeah.
Where these,
and that could just be someone building an app, right?
100%.
Or even
becomes way easier.
On
that stuff. And I think on the hospitality tech side of things, I think the servers play an enormous. Sorry, we all know they play an enormous role in the experience, and yet we're not technically enabling them.
No,
We're not saying
Literally the conversation I had the same time yesterday. That founder 10 restaurants was saying we are not giving them the tools.
The human intelligence is there, and these are the key people. These are the people that make my experience great.
Right now, it's the chip printer that you pull out, and that the reservations person takes them to the table, and that little flimsy piece of paper is gone.
But actually, you know that I like steak. You know that I like red wine. You know that I've got kids. Let's let the server know that so that they can just And so I think that's a big thing in hospitality tech.
I think the challenge is so like we work with a restaurant called Happy Restaurant in Leicester Square, awesome restaurant by the way, and it's a Bulgarian restaurant, and they've got a button. It's a bit like Bob Rickard when you press a button for champagne.
Nice.
They've got the button press for service, and then every server who looks after that specific area has a little watch.
Yeah,
so
fantastic.
Which is quite nice, and it's not every high-end restaurant. High-end restaurants aren't going to like it, but there's some really cool stuff that can be done with just basic tech, right?
Agree.
And that's pretty basic. But if you could utilize the smarts and again make that. He was saying we were talking about the MaitreD experience we talked about earlier, right? Yeah. Having everyone to have the same experience that you have when you go to an amazing hotel.
Exactly.
And that's what you want.
No, and that's exactly it. If we can help those guys to understand. Yeah. Your past history. Are you a loyalty member? Yeah. You've been 10 times. Make me feel like I've been 10 times. Yeah. Welcome back.
Yeah. 100%. Just, I think the challenge is how do you, like, now you've got like Toast and Lightspeed and all the rest with the tablets. The tablets are there as well, right? So if they were to click on the tape, you could so easily 100%. Do something like that.
The hardware
right?
is there.
Yeah.
Now the technology needs to take that personal information without GDPR breach and all the rest of it, but to give that personalized experience from the server. Because the server is the golden interaction point. Yeah. Let's help those guys.
It'd be awesome if you got to walk to the table and then the first thing that popped up was the info about the table.
Exactly. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Oh, don't worry about your drinks. I've just got you around the drinks. What's that for?
Or even before you arrived, did you want the usual?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and let's add extra. Great.
Yeah.
These kind of seamless interactions is what the future I think of hospitality.
I totally agree with you. I don't think with that piece,
far away.
I don't think we're that far away. I think it's just like, what do? Do you give the waiter a watch? That's the piece, isn't it? Like,
but they have tablets. They have these ordering tablets,
but they're just all locked down to those, right? So actually, say that Lightspeed's one is just an iPhone.
Interesting.
So they've
got load other apps and things on it.
Yes, an iPhone.
Fine.
So theoretically, you can do what you like. The Toast ones, I think, locked down. Others like Tissels have just a tablet, like a bigger tablet. Most of them are just generic tablets out there. There are some there are credit card machines that are locked down, but then you've got people like Pepper and Me and You, who are building these pay and order, but not for the customer, for the server.
And therefore, we need to feed the personalized information to them, and then have a set of effectively an open ecosystem allows us to say, hey, by the way, we know some stuff about this person. Yeah. You can choose to use it or not.
So you don't have to worry about the pods. You can use the third party that has the information in, or even bring up. Could you imagine like some of those tools that just you click table 10 and it's pulled the preference data out and it's shown what they like.
Yeah.
So they're like, and then what's the specials? Oh, I know you like this. I know you like steak. Yeah. Well, we've got an amazing blah 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 on. Like that sort of stuff is just
specials.
Yeah, killing me. Okay, fine. So. Right, let's talk about what's the path to entry. How do you get going? Like, what's the process?
So onboarding depends what you're looking for. So if we're looking for custom audiences to social, we need to ingest all the CRM data. So we need to be integrated with your CRM. So we've thankfully the last few weeks we've done Airship and Actio.
Amazing,
which is great. So that covers a bunch of people, and then there's a couple others that we would love to do so that we can work with anyone.
Yeah.
Again, we're happy to do integrations. It's our background.
Yeah, it's your bag.
We're good, and we believe in an integrated ecosystem. So so that stuff and for sending out emails and SMSs, again, CRM integration. So those acquire and engage are a little bit they're dependent on the third-party integrations. Something like Activate, which is the on-web stuff, which includes refer a friend. It's the script on your website.
That's it.
And then we just want brand creative. We want to go,
yeah.
What is your brand? Give us your brand guidelines. Give us a bunch of assets, and we'll load them in our platform, and then you can choose how to configure them.
And they can just go in themselves.
And it starts tracking on day one. Exactly.
Nice. So even if they're not using...
We will help them. We don't even... Yeah. We will help them to go, right, this is what... Here's 5 things that work really well for other people.
Nice. Okay,
let us help you set that template, how it works. And suddenly data starts flowing in, so you get the dopamine hit almost immediately of seeing the tracking of guests. And as soon as you run a campaign, you can start tracking and going... Either it was great or that
this is the challenge. I think that you're going to annoy a lot of the people that spend the money on the third party tracking and all these lovely marketing consultants we speak to who are spending, who are charging people for, but they're sitting there daily and
crunching numbers.
Exactly.
But people just want it in front of them, and they want to make it easy for them in a consumable format that I can just look and go, how many people did you recognize? What did they do? Where did they fall off? We showed them a campaign. Did they convert?
So then, okay, fine. So from sign up to go, just for the email, obviously dependent on the the influx of that.
Activate days,
Yeah,
because it's just
amazing.
a script and you got to stick it in a GTM. CRM integration, if we already have it.
Yeah.
Airship and Actiol, it's a config to say which brand
Nice.
ID you have.
Yeah.
And then it's about marketing setup. So it's about what is your call to action?
So
What's your
path to
image?
entry is just super easy, basically. And you've already got those clients that you're working with, so you've got the ideas of what they are. Okay, how do they find website? Give them information. You can talk right there. So how do they find you? Not you personally.
Yeah, you can also
maybe?
find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm fairly vocal, normally about relevant things, sometimes about irrelevant things. They can find us at guestwise.tech or on our Guestwise LinkedIn. It's a great place, and we've got a bunch of the team on there.
Amazing. All right, so we're gonna go to the last questions because I know we went a bit long. So best restaurant.
Best restaurant. I can't say Toby Carvery again. No.
Give us another one. You
You
could do. Let's do two. Toby Carvery and because I'm gonna tag him on LinkedIn. Toby Carvery, like, oh my god.
The Ned would have to be up there.
Okay, I agree.
The Ned would have to be up there.
Awesome,
And they've got the whole thing about aged steak and it just
Yes.
experience environment.
Yeah,
very, very
the
good.
service there is mental. Best burger.
So I went to actually Honest Burgers for lunch.
Okay.
We're also working with Honest Burgers, and they're great.
Yeah, they
and
are
I had the
great.
chili burger with the coleslaw, and it was excellent, very well cooked, juicy, and I fast. Really good. Really enjoyed it.
I had a double
Very, very
smash
good.
the other day.
They've
That's freaking
Of
awesome.
all the posh burgers that came out a long time ago, they're one who has stayed the course. They are expanding, and you can see why.
I just think it's consistent, and that's the thing.
It's good.
And also, we had Gemma's just came out last week, and I said that I didn't know. I know now that they allow the general managers to run them like independent stores, which is really nice. You get that individual feel.
That is great. And they've got great provenance.
Yeah.
So they shout about their provenance on their website. I mean, Gemma's done a cracking job with the marketing and is doing 16 hats and jobs all at once.
Her brain is freaking.
But they have birthday things going out. They have provenance. They have service. They have GMs who care. Like all these things come together in hospitality.
They're collecting great data on their website as well. I mean, they can definitely be learnt from when people have a look at the website. Best hotel.
So I went to, this is an interesting one. It is not a brand. I went to a hotel in Punta del Este who was owned by a guy who had traveled as a salesman for 20 years.
Okay.
And had taken everything he hated about hotels and had distilled it into this one hotel. And so all the showers had double shower heads.
Yeah.
The curtains were proper blackout, like black.
Yeah.
There's no phone in the room. He said, if somebody needs to get you, they will call the front desk and we will come and talk to you. There was fresh orange juice in the morning that was fresh orange juice that he refused to. He said, after 7 seconds or something, the goodness is gone. So I'm going to squeeze it at the table. The beds were enormous and firm.
Yeah.
The pillows were firm. Everything was just done
to
say, we want you to relax and enjoy.
Yeah.
You will not be disturbed. And that was probably the best hotel I've ever been to.
Oh, interesting. I'll have a look. That sounds
Uruguay,
amazing.
Punta del Este.
Punta del Este. Okay, I'll put it in the show notes. Okay, last piece is the 2 questions for the next guest. Could be operator, marketer, tech, anything.
So first question would be, what is the best digital way to give an amazing customer experience?
Mm-hmm, like that.
And the second thing would be, do you watch any food bloggers? And if so, who and why?
Okay, I like that. I'm a killer on the food bloggers.
I
get lost on Instagram. It's crazy. Okay, amazing. Kerry, this is Kerry from Guestwise. You've seen the website.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much for coming. Give everyone a little wave. Thank you. Oh, hold on. We didn't do the round of applause. Everyone can hear that now.
Thank you for having me, Adam.
Nice.
Absolutely
Thanks.
amazing.